ManCloud and Benny from XDG. Gentlemen, congratulations on the win. Starting off here just against Coast, a high priority for you guys is kind of the early game pressure. What was the objective to get that going for you guys? Smithy, we'll start with you. Or Benny.
Why do people always confuse me and Smithy? I'm really confused. Even like people on Reddit confuse me for that. But early game, I'm not even really sure. Like for the Lee Sin pick, we knew there was a possibility, but we also like kind of forgot about that. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to pick. So I decided to pick Trundle, and Trundle's early trading versus Lee Sin isn't the best. Like Lee Sin has like 3 or 2 damage abilities. Trundle doesn't really have many except for his Chomp. So like the ganks that came up to kill Zan, it wasn't even exactly a plan to like shut down Zan in the beginning of the game. It just so happened when we saw the opportunities do so, we just capitalized on it.
Yeah, and you actually ended up making him start 0-4-0, sometimes with the help of ManCloud. We actually have a replay of that if we can get it up on the screen. Tell me why you guys were able to see this opportunity and then the impact it had on the game. Obviously, he was 0-1 already, but talk about this play for me.
Yeah, a lot of times with Lulu, I find that when I pressure my advantage, I don't use it enough, or I don't pressure it well enough. But this time I shoved out mid and saw that Zion was top with no flash, so I just saw this opportunity to just blow everything and kill him. Because typically he's the one that carries him and Shifter, so I was just like, this is my opportunity to shut down Zion, and I took it.
Yeah, and on top of that, 2 of Zion's first deaths were solely due to he and Nintendo failing a gank on me. Like, we traded flashes, and he did a really aggressive flash, so with his flash down, we were able to kill him.
Are you finding now that Xsmithy's been back in the jungle for a few games? Do you have that synergy back in the top lane with him that you had last season, or are you actually getting ganks this time? What's going on?
Honestly, I don't even know how good Smithy and my synergy was. Like, I guess I was known more as a top laner who excelled at playing from behind or just like a disadvantaged like position. But I mean, even though we do have ganks happen, like I guess they're kind of rare, but when they do come, I'm just really appreciative of that.
Oh, thank God.
Well, in the top lane, you kind of took a page out of the book yesterday from Quas, Curse versus the XDG game. That Trundle was pretty big. Got pretty scary. Was there any reason that you picked Trundle because of that, knowing the potential, or was just Trundle fit the game this time?
I just felt that Trundle scaled better than Lee Sin in the late game, and he has some sustain and like just tankiness that I can just not die in lane, and then in team fights I just take his resistance if Lee Sin does build against me, because as you saw, once I built the Blade of the Ruined King, I was able to outduel him even though he had Hydra. Like I just ulti him and then bork him, and then he almost just dies instantly.
Yeah, and ManCloud, it's actually been a while since we've been able to talk with you. You guys were so dominant last season going 20-8, and we haven't really got to hear your side of the story. What do you think has been the main struggle this year for XGG, or even yourself in particular?
I just haven't been performing that well, like, period. A lot of champion, like, diversity changes. I wasn't very good at, like, a month ago. It was, like, Kha'Zix, Yasuo, and Riven. I wasn't strong during that period, and I'm not adapting very quickly. But I think I'm starting to catch up now.
Yeah, especially with the Lulu that you've been playing the last few games. And yesterday, actually, you set a NALCS CS record. Were you aware of that? 607.
Like 600 something.
Yeah, on Orianna.
That's ridiculous.
Is that working better for you guys now? Are you getting more warmed up?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm adapting much better now.
Awesome.
And how's it going with Sheep, guys? Bringing him in, he's been doing big things for the team. You know, initially, what was the reason to pick Sheep out? Was he already a friend of the team, and how's things been working in the house?
He gets along really well with everyone in the house. As for why we picked him up, it was mainly just we had to find a high elo support player because there really were none to pick up off of other teams. And then he actually got picked up by Curse Academy while we were looking at him, and just kind of, he's like, yeah, this is an LCS team as opposed to an amateur team, so we decided to join.
Oh, big things from that. So coming out with this, obviously you guys have quite a record to work with here and build on top of that. Do you guys kind of go into each game saying it's 0-0, we got to win with all the momentum in the world from the start, or are things kind of weighing on you now?
You really can't let it weigh on us too much. Like, you just have to go in every game just with the mentality to win. I don't think too much about the losing record.
Yeah, like you shouldn't let the pressure get to you, and we just play each game like it's like not because, or we don't think about our record going into the game. Each game like counts the same, so we just have to weigh it that way.
Yeah, and ManCloud, you mentioned earlier how you're adapting a little bit better to the champions that are being played right now. And the late game team fight was actually a pretty big example of that. Even though you guys could have closed out the game a little bit sooner, this was the overall defining fight. If we can get this up on your screen. Now, ManCloud, talk to me about what your goal was on Lulu this late into the game when everyone is so squishy.
My goal is literally just to ult one of our tanks when they get in the middle of everybody to get the knock up. Because
Okay.
there's no way me or Zuna should be able to die to anyone on their team. So I just ult. Actually, my ult wasn't up right now, so I already used it. But I just
Right.
did a shield to save sheep there, and then I see like they're all bunching up. So I tell Chris to Zuna to just get in there, and he played really scared. I was yelling at him to get back into the fight, and I got an E on Zion, just happened to get him with the slow as he jumped over.
Yeah, that was a very ridiculous kill here.
Yeah, and then like right now my W is on like a 5-6 second cooldown, so I just yelled to keep chasing, and we ended up taking like all of them out.
So towards this part of the game, you're the main shot caller, or just trying to be the main voice?
Well, right now
because
I'm the
of
only
your
one that's
position?
like alive and chasing, so I'm just like just chase, chase, chase.
Well,
And
that'll
then
work
sheep
then.
just dies to the bomb randomly.
Take it as it comes. It was a very
Yeah.
good fight. You guys pressured really hard. What's it like? What's the tension like when Coast does come back with a 4-kill fight and you guys are instantly on your heels? How do you reposition from something like that? Because it happened multiple times in the game.
Well, even after something like that, we know that we're still ahead. We just played the
Okay.
team fight wrong, so we just make sure we don't do it again. It does set us back a bit, though. Like, it takes much longer to close out the game if you do something like that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, communication-wise, since there were the role swaps with Zuna to get him in a better shot-calling role. Now that he's back on AD carry, or even having Sheep on support, what is the balance there with who's communicating?
I feel like we just gone back to our old roots where it's like everybody chips in whatever information and then someone else just uses the information and just turns it into a call, and then everyone else just either follows it, or if someone has a problem with it, they go against it and bring up why, and then we decide from there.
All right, gentlemen, final question. TSM is the first game tomorrow. ManCloud, how are you guys feeling about this matchup?
It'd be cool to play Reggie again. I haven't played against him in a while. He's looking really strong, actually. Hopefully we can pull out the win, though. It's really important to us.
All right, Ben, anything about anything from the top lane?
I guess Darius is like the most consistent top laner for a reason. Like I feel like he's the backbone of TSM, even though like each member is especially strong. But the games that he does especially well in, TSM tends to win, or he's able to carry by making some good decisions, good position in the team fight. So that top lane should be really interesting. Like he's really respected opponent.
All right, ManCloud, Benny, gentlemen, congratulations on the win. Best of
Thank you.
luck as
Thank
we
you.
get towards the end of the split here. Let's send it over to the caster's desk so Freakin' Kobe